We talk all the time about our hearts, our blood vessels, the big players in our circulatory system. But have you ever stopped to think about the hidden networks that support them? There's this quieter, incredible system working tirelessly in the background. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the body's real unsung hero, the lymphatic system.
All right, let's just jump right in with a kind of weird question. What on earth do your blood vessels have in common with a leaky garden hose? I know, it sounds like a setup for a bad joke, but the answer is actually the key to understanding why we even need a lymphatic system in the first place. So, our story really begins with a huge challenge that our own bodies face, a massive delivery problem. I mean, how do you get crucial supplies to every single one of your trillions of cells? And this right here really shows you the heart of the issue. For a simple little guy like an amoeba, life is pretty easy, right? Nutrients just drift in, waste drifts out. But for us, well, as you can see, most of our cells are buried deep inside. Diffusion alone just isn't going to cut it. Not even close. Just try to wrap your head around the scale of it. We're talking trillions of individual cells. Every single one is like a tiny factory that needs a constant supply line for fuel and oxygen and a super reliable trash pickup service. That requires a seriously sophisticated transport network. So that main transport network is, of course, the blood circulatory system. It is an amazing piece of biological engineering, but, and this is a big but, it has one major built-in flaw. It's basically a leaky plumbing system. We all learn the basics, right? You've got the heart, which is this incredible, powerful pump. You have the blood vessels, the arteries, the veins, and those tiny little capillaries acting like the body's highways and side streets. And then you've got the blood itself, the delivery truck carrying all the goods. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting, right down at the microscopic level. The heart pumps blood at a pretty high pressure. And when that high-pressure blood gets to the tiniest, thinnest-walled capillaries, that pressure literally squeezes some of the liquid part of the blood, the plasma, right out through the capillary walls. It seeps into the spaces between your cells, and this leaked liquid, well, now it's called tissue fluid. So how much fluid are we talking about here? A little drip? Nope. Not even close. Every single day, your circulatory system leaks about 4 liters of fluid into your body tissues. 4? That's more than a gallon. That's like 2 of those giant soda bottles. Just imagine pouring that much liquid into your tissues every day. That's the scale of the leak we're dealing with. Which, naturally, it brings us to a really important question. I mean, if you were constantly losing that much fluid from your bloodstream, you'd be in serious trouble. Fast. So where does it all go? And this is where our hero finally enters the story. It's the cleanup crew, the elegant, brilliant solution to that whole leaky plumbing problem, the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system works by basically collecting all that extra tissue fluid, and as soon as that fluid gets inside the lymphatic vessels, it gets a new name, lymph. It's this pale yellow fluid, and its whole job is to get returned to the bloodstream where it belongs. This diagram shows you exactly how it works. You see those green vessels all woven in between the cells and the blood capillaries? Those are the lymphatic capillaries. They are perfectly placed to act like tiny drainage pipes, just soaking up all that leftover tissue fluid. But once it's inside, the fluid actually changes a bit. Lymph has a higher concentration of fats, and maybe most importantly, it's packed with a lot more of those immune cells we call lymphocytes than the original tissue fluid was. And it's really interesting to see how lymph is different from blood. Yeah, it's carrying nutrients and white blood cells, but it doesn't have the big stuff like plasma proteins, red blood cells, and platelets. All those guys are too big to leak out, so they stay behind in the blood vessels. But here's the thing. The lymphatic system is so much more than just a drainage network. It's really a multi-talented hero, and it's juggling several other critical jobs at the same time. I mean, just look at this map of the system. It is this vast network that spreads throughout your entire body. And it's not just the vessels. It also includes key organs like your lymph nodes, the spleen, the thymus, even your tonsils. They're all part of this incredible, interconnected system. So what are its main jobs? Well, there are really 3 big ones. First, fluid return. That's its primary gig, right? Rescuing those 4 liters of fluid every day to keep your blood volume and pressure stable. Second, body defense. The lymph nodes are like little security checkpoints, producing and storing immune cells, those lymphocytes, that fight off infections. And third, fat transport. It actually absorbs fats from your intestine and delivers them into your blood. It's a real workhorse. So, given all these vital roles, you can probably imagine that when this system fails, the consequences can be pretty serious. It's actually a powerful way to understand just how crucial its quiet, behind-the-scenes work really is. So let's ask that question. What happens when this crucial cleanup crew just can't do its job? What if the drains get blocked, or they're just completely and utterly overwhelmed? Well, the result is a condition called edema, and it's really simple. It's the swelling that happens when all that excess tissue fluid isn't collected and returned to the blood. That fluid has nowhere else to go, so it just builds up and up and up in the tissues. And this is what that can look like. On the left, you've got a normal leg, and on the right, a leg with some mild edema. This kind of swelling can happen for all sorts of reasons, from something temporary to more chronic, long-term problems with the lymphatic system itself. And in really extreme cases, the consequences are severe. This is a condition called lymphatic filariasis. It's where a parasite actually infects and blocks the lymphatic vessels. The backup of fluid is just immense, and it leads to this profound swelling. It's a devastating example of what happens when that drainage system fails catastrophically. It's probably best summed up with this thought. The lymphatic system truly is the silent partner to our circulatory system. It just works around the clock, never asking for any credit, to maintain that delicate fluid balance and protect our bodies from harm. And that really leaves us with a final, practical thought to chew on. Now that we know just how vital this hidden system is for both our fluid balance and our immunity, what small habits could we maybe bring into our daily lives to help support it and keep it healthy? Something to think about.